Good afternoon, everybody. It's LinkedIn Tuesdays. We're very glad you're with us. We've got a bunch of people on Facebook and a bunch of people on Zoom. We're really glad you're with us today. For those of you who are on Zoom, if you've got questions or whatever, please open up the chat box, which is where the blue arrow is, and please enter any questions you may have during the workshop. Please enter your questions right there. I'll be monitoring it, and I'll make sure that Locke can answer those questions as they pop up. For those of you on Facebook, please enter your questions into the comment box. And like I said, I'll make sure that the questions get to our speaker today. For those on Zoom, there's a couple different ways to view things. If you go at the very top, there's view options, and you can sit and play with those. Where the yellow arrow is, it switches between speaker view and gallery view. And you can see the two different views at the very bottom of the screen on the lower left. That is the speaker view, the way it looks for speaker view, so you only see who's talking. And where that little red arrow is, right in between the picture of the person and the screen, you can drag that back and forth so you can make the speaker bigger or smaller, just depending on whatever configuration you want to do to make things easier for you. Please note this event is currently being recorded and it's currently live on Facebook. The recording will be on the Career DFW Facebook page and on the Career USA YouTube channels for others to view in the future. By participating in this event, and if you post a comment in the chat box or have your microphone or camera on, you give consent for your comments, name, and pictures to appear. Well, my name is Jeff Morris. I founded Career DFW back in 2008 to help the unemployed in the DFW area. In 2012, I launched CareerUSA.org to help people outside the DFW area. Since 2007, I've been facilitating and leading the North Dallas Plano Career Focus Group that meets every Friday morning at 9:30, and currently we're meeting online. And I've been a member of the practice interview team since 2016. We have three different speakers who talk about LinkedIn. They rotate every third week. Locke Alderson, Terry Sullivan, and Ruth Lipsky. This week, Locke Alderson is our speaker. He's going to talk about how to use LinkedIn for the job hunt, strategies that gets results. So Locke, thank you for being with us, and I'll turn it over to you.
Well, thank you, Jeff. I'll go ahead, and if you've shared the screen, I can go ahead and get my screen. Can you see that?
Not yet.
Okay. How do I share the screen, Jeff? I'm doing that again, so up and ready.
You're good to go.
Well, I'm going to get this so I can see the screen. So, well, it's not working, so I can't see that. So, okay. Anyway, I'd like to welcome you. There's my bio up on the screen with 41 years in recruiting with some companies like Continental Airlines and Litton Data Systems and Rockwell in California, here in Dallas with MasTec, which was merged into United Technologies and went out of business. And then went with E-Systems. They merged into Raytheon, and when that happened, I joined Siebel, which was a spin out from Oracle, and then Oracle bought Siebel. I then went to work for Mullen International, which was an outplacement firm out of New York. I was with them for a little over 4 years, and they were purchased by Lee Heck Harrison. I was laid off and then hired by Lee Heck Harrison. So that's kind of my background. Anybody who would like the presentation today, my email address is there on the screen at lockealderson@gmail.com. If you'll just send me an email to that address, I will be happy to send you the whole slide deck. It's also available as it's being recorded. We're going to go from there. For those who are not on LinkedIn, there is a YouTube video on that, so you can just do YouTube and look for LinkedIn, how to sign up for LinkedIn and fill in your profile. It's pretty straightforward. And you might ask, well, why should I use LinkedIn? Well, LinkedIn is the #1 recruiting tool that hiring managers and recruiters use to find and vet candidates. So if there are that many candidates, 90% of the hiring managers and recruiters use it. That's where you want to be if you're going to be looking for a job. It's not the only source I recommend, but it's certainly one of the most valuable ones today in the marketplace. Okay, it all starts with your profile. And your profile is basically what LinkedIn says is the prior, I mean, that's the equivalent of your resume. So that's all what it's all about. And your profile is your homepage, basically. It's similar to an online resume, as I mentioned. You need to have your photo, a headshot. That's a pretty good one of me. My wife took that several years ago. And a background photo is not necessary, but it's also something that you can do. You can also have that with something like Wordle. Jeff's got one on his. It has all his background. And his experience there is summarized on that. You have your name, and below that you have your headline. The headline is kind of like the marquee in a movie theater. If you don't put a headline down there, like I have there, it's going to default to your last job title that shows in your experience section. The other thing that you want to note on there that's open to opportunities. That's another way that you can let recruiters know what you're looking for. And that's available through the settings area. And then you can let only recruiters on this slide, or you can open it up to all of LinkedIn to see what job opportunities that you're looking for. So your name, under your headline there, you have 120 characters to play with. And we'll take a look at some headlines in a minute, some good ones and some bad ones that you get to play with. But as I said, if you don't enter anything there, it will default to your last job title, and that may not be what you're looking for in the way of a new position. The opportunities is in the settings section, the job opportunities, and the featured section is another section that you have on your resume. So how do you go about increasing the ranking on your resume? On your profile? Well, LinkedIn gives every profile a ranking, a score based on the different sections of the profile. The more sections that you complete fully, the higher the ranking that you'll get, and the greater the likelihood is you'll appear higher in a recruiter's stack when they do a search for you. You need to have that professional headshot. You don't want one with you out drinking a beer, although that's fine possibly for Facebook or some other social media, but not there. The headline should reflect the job title that you're applying for or other positions that you're considering. Remember, you have 120 characters to play with. The opportunities is over in the settings section, and once you set that up, it gives you a chance to identify 5 different job titles that you might use. And job titles are one of the things that recruiters use when they search for candidates. The About section used to be called the Summary section. Is your own summary. It's a summary of your keywords from your profession. You have 1,000 characters to play with in your summary or your About section. The first part of that should contain your contact information. The reason that I say that, the more times that people have to click to find you, to be able to get hold of you, the more likely they're not going to click it. So you want to make it easy for them. So in mine, I put my contact information in the first line of my summary section. Your experience section, if you have job titles, could have your job title, a description of who the company is, and some of the duties that you have. Shouldn't be more than 3 or 4 lines because people kind of get lost in having to read more than 3 or 4 lines. It's a description of who you are, what you're looking for. If the title is an unusual one, you want to clarify what it is. So a member of technical staff 3 is possibly known by a certain company, but most people don't identify with what that is. So if you're a design engineer or something like that, you could put that. Okay. Keywords from your professions are also important, as well as the keywords from job postings that are there. Any awards, certifications, and professional developments you've had also needs to appear, as well as your skills from your profession and endorsements, people who've endorsed you for your expertise in a given area or a given skill, as well as recommendations from coworkers and former bosses. These are kind of like letters of reference that you might want to have. And on titles in your experience section, you can amplify the title to clarify what it is. And so if you were an accountant, what kind of accountant? Were you a general ledger accountant or cost accountant? What kind of things were you involved with? Or recruiter, technical recruiter? Those are the kind of things people want to know about. The next area of your resume is of your profile is your dashboard. You notice this is a screenshot from mine. You have a chance to take a look at who's viewed your profile and this, and how many posts that you've appeared in, and the number of searches appearances in. And your goal is to get this one over here called All-Star. And by doing that, if you complete the different sections of your profile, that's the greater likelihood is you'll appear as an All-Star. And then you have the featured section. Mine has 7. I just updated the feature section yesterday. Well, all of the presentations that I've done, the PowerPoint presentations that are available. So you can do that. You can include videos or other samples for your work in the featured section. And it's fairly new. So when you click on search appearances, back on the prior screen, it says, wouldn't you like to know what keywords were used by the recruiters to find people? Well, these are just some of the keywords that I've had when I looked at some of the searches that were there. And the next thing, you can tell who searched those, what kind of companies they worked for. They're typically people that are looking for someone with your kind of background, although in my case, they may be looking for a recruiter to help them find their next job. Some of these companies, even though they may not have a job, they may be the kind of companies that will appear on your target company list because they have kind of the kind of work that you're accustomed to doing. Let's take a look at some sample headlines. What do you think about these two? Unemployed and retired really don't convey much, and they have a negative overtone. Nothing wrong with being retired or unemployed. I've been both of those. But again, it doesn't convey what you're looking for. Seeking a new opportunity, gives a little bit more information, tells people that you're looking for a job possibly. Formerly VP of Finance is okay, except for the word formerly. Why give any kind of information that's of a negative connotation? I would tend to omit the formerly A and just have VP of Finance. Experienced media professional gives more information about that, as does a social media strategist and content manager. Some of the abbreviations like PR, seeking a new opportunity, they have experience in print and digital media, and they have marketing and corporate communications experience. Here's another one. This one's pretty short, but pretty specific. Supply chain, procurement, purchasing, might add something like logistics in that one. Again, this pipe character there is an uppercase key on your keyboard. It's usually up on the 3rd row toward the right side of your keyboard. If you use the pipe character like that, you want to make sure that you have a space on either side of it, because if you have chain, pipe, procurement all together, that's not a searchable term for a recruiter or a hiring manager. Here's another one, a senior accountant, amplified by things like general ledger, and some acronyms like that, GL and PR, are known by recruiters, so you don't have to spell those out, and it saves you real estate. This accountant has also done financial reporting, or might be budgeting. It's another thing that they've been involved with. An executive assistant really is kind of a generic term. By amplifying and adding something like budgeting and event planning, gives a little bit more indication of what kinds of skills and experience that you have. Or an IT project manager with ITIL certification, and they've been a Scrum Master. Again, gives more information to the recruiter, because recruiters tend to look for the keywords like that, and that's what they search on. Here's another one, a general manager with manufacturing and aerospace experience. Gives you a pretty succinct idea of what they're looking for, what their background consists of. Others might be web developer, or somebody with strategic planning and analysis, program management, budgets, and cost analysis. These are the different kinds of things that you can use in your headline. Again, remember, you've got 120 characters that you can play with in your headline. Well, let's take a look at your summary section in the About section. You notice on this one, the contact information is right at the top of the screen. It gives a pretty detailed analysis of what a senior financial planning analysis person is involved with. You can look at that as pretty straightforward in that, but gives a good overview of what somebody's done. It balances out, in addition to the different colors, with bold and just regular typeface, and uses some spacing in there when they do that. Generally, the first 3 lines are all that appears when somebody clicks on you, or when your profile opens up, the first 3 lines. That's why it's important to have your contact information up here at the top of your screen. Here's some other sample summaries. Whether you're in career transition or just starting out, it's also okay in your summary section to start with or use first person, tell a little bit more about you. That's not generally used when somebody's writing a resume. Those are just some examples that have come out. As I say, if you want the slide deck, just send me that email and I'll send the whole deck to you so that you have it. The next area on your profile that's very important is your skills and endorsement, because skills are what recruiters are looking for in addition to the keywords. When you go to the set up your skills and endorsements, okay, the first thing that you can do, it gives you the opportunity to add some. It will suggest, LinkedIn suggests some titles based on your profile. And you can see by these that you can add these as a part of that. And we'll take another look at that in just a minute. And you can click, if you type that, start to type in something like data analysis. Again, if it's not one that LinkedIn recognizes, it won't let you add that one. And you can click add. Okay. The next area, come on. It just kicked me out, Jeff. I don't know what I've done. So.
Well, you're still here.
Well, oh. There we go. Sorry, I missed that. Go to the next one, your skills and endorsements area. This is what it actually looks like. The skill is listed there, and LinkedIn will select 3 skills. And you notice on mine, it has 99 after it. That's the number of endorsements that I have. That's a subjective rating that people give to you. But again, if a recruiter is looking at that and somebody has 4 career consulting endorsements and somebody has 99, I would tend to say that there's going to be more weight given to the 99. You can add a new skill by clicking on the blue pencil, as I mentioned. The next screen shows about that. This is where the 3 skills come in, the top skills. You notice the push pin that's there. If you click on that, it will drop it down to the next area. Like if I took technical recruiting and clicked on that, it would drop it down into industry knowledge. I could then go down and select any one of the others by pushing the pin, and it will appear at the top. If you go over to the right-hand side and click on the 4 lines that are there, you can drag and drop the areas so that the skills that are listed, you can list those to the top of the screen. Makes it easy for you to emphasize certain things, particularly if you want to emphasize things that you've done some time ago in your career. Okay. You want to take a look at your profile. Is it really a public profile? The way that you can do that is to your settings. Do the settings and privacy area of your profile. And you can edit your URL up there. Normally your URL you come with comes your name, first and last name, possibly with a hyphen between them, and 8 characters after that. Those are kind of distracting. You can go in and customize that by clicking on the edit your public URL, edit your public profile and URL. It normally appears where you have something like this is what it looks like. Gail Houston has cleaned hers up, but it normally would have 8 characters after that. You could delete those and add something like a dash, an MBA, or CPA, or any other thing for advertising. But certainly you want to clean that up. If somebody else has the same name, like Gail Houston, there are 4 of those in the United States. I don't know that any of them are related to Gail, but she was the first one to claim it, so she gets to use Gail Houston. It could be Gail Houston 1 or something else like that. Gail Houston in Texas or Dallas are different ways that you can customize it. If it's not allowed, you'll get that red X over there. If it is allowed, you'll get the green check mark. And a customized URL is something that you can use on your resume. If you embed it in your resume, when somebody looks at your resume online, if they click on it, it will automatically take them to your LinkedIn profile. Okay. The other thing that you want to do in terms of privacy and settings is take a look and see who can see your email address. When we look at some profiles in a little bit, we'll try and do that. If I'm not directly connected with you, I may not be able to see your contact information. When I click on contact information, if it's not embedded in your profile, like I mentioned down in the About section, the first 2 lines. Who could see your connections? That's one that I turn off so that others can't see all my connections because I don't want them looking at those from me. And when I mentioned letting recruiters know that you're open to opportunities, you can see job hunting preferences, and you can change that. When you do that the first time, as I said, it will allow you to add 5 different job titles. It will allow you to add some locations, how long you want to commute. Again, when somebody looks at your profile, like a recruiter, there's I'm going to give you 6 to 10 seconds to give some attention to it. So what do you notice about mine? Well, I've got a decent headshot. I think that's one my wife took. She likes it. I've got a background picture from when I went on a cruise down in the Caribbean. I think that's Curacao. You notice on my name, you can, after your name, you can add something like MBA or CPA, although LinkedIn frowns upon that and you may get asked to take that down. And underneath your name is your headline. I say 120 characters to play with there. You can look in terms of contact information. If we were to click on that, it will give my contact information. Now, I don't want calls from people, so I don't put my phone number on there. I talked to a candidate the other day, and he didn't even have his email address in there, so it's very difficult for him. I asked him, well, how do you expect recruiters to get in touch with you if they can't send you an email, send you a message, or they can't give you a call? So I think he's changed his to include at least his email address in his profile. Open to the job opportunities, as I said, you have 5 of those. Once you've entered it in, you can change those as you will and see all the details. This one is open to all LinkedIn members. If you notice the first one we looked at, it was limited to LinkedIn recruiters. The job preferences are good for job opportunities that you've selected are good for up to 90 days, and then you may go inactive if you don't have any activity on your profile. Again, that may shut that feature down. You'd have to go in and reactivate it. Okay. And your activity on LinkedIn, while I'm talking about that, is one of the factors that the LinkedIn looks at when they do an evaluation of your profile when a recruiter runs the algorithm to search for candidates. If you don't have a current position, I strongly suggest that you add one, even if you're unemployed. This is for a gentleman who has a background in telecommunications. He's been in program and project management. You notice how he's filled that out. The title, he's searching for a position as his current company in telecommunications. Yours might be in supply chain or logistics or accounting and finance, whatever it is that you're looking for. And you noted the location. This one is out of date. As you can see, it's back in 2017, so it's at least 3 years. So he's been looking for a job for a long time. He's also in his headline, he's looking for a project manager, program manager, and he's got skills in telecommunications. Well, that's just an indication. That's another factor that LinkedIn looks at as they evaluate profiles when a search is conducted. You also have the opportunity, once you've completed your profile, to select and add job alerts. And they can send you, notice this one on a recruiting specialist. There are different titles that I've used, and I could turn that on so I'd be notified when any new jobs are posted with that title in them. You can turn that off. Again, those are generally thumbnail sketches that you get, and depending upon the delivery option that you've chosen, it'll either be daily or weekly. So how does LinkedIn take a look at searches, recruiter searches? Well, first, as I mentioned, LinkedIn gives every profile a score, and there are values for each section of your profile, and your score is based on the sum of these values and how you use LinkedIn. The higher scores move to the top of the recruiter's list of results, and it includes things like all-star status, which is basically having a complete profile. If you have areas that are incomplete, it will not give you as high a ranking for that. The next area, does it match the job title, your current, your previous jobs, and the headline on your profile? Are you open to new opportunities? Recruiters do like low-hanging fruit. People that are open to hearing a recruiter overture or pitch about a new position are more likely to get contacted, and that's noted there. So if you've checked that section on LinkedIn, it's going to give you an added value for that. Keywords are vital to that. Just like they say on resumes, having keywords off the job profile are essential. Having keywords from your profession are essential for that. And how do you find those? Well, you can dissect a job posting and find out what some of the key things that they're looking for. Skills are vitally important. We'll take a look at a search in just a minute, how a recruiter actually does a search to see what those come up with. And geographic location. Applicants have taught recruiters they generally don't want to travel more than 25 miles to work. So what have recruiters done? They've limited their searches to 25 miles from their job location. And that's one of the reasons it's important to have your location or to select a location when you complete your profile. Because otherwise, I have a candidate I'm working with who most of his experience is out in Abilene. He's looking for a job here in the Dallas area. So he's not going to show up in searches when people put 25-mile limit, or somebody like a logistics analyst, which is his area of expertise. He's looking for jobs. He might, but again, if recruiters have opened it up, that's another story. And likewise, if you have direct connections with a recruiter, if you're first or second degree connections, and you have a number of your connections are over 500, again, that's something that recruiters look for. How active are you on LinkedIn? And if you comment on posts and articles or write article or post a blog. So what do recruiters really look for? Well, they're looking at the headline, as I mentioned, job titles that you've had, job titles that you're interested in. They look at your employment, the job titles, your past and present positions. They're looking for keywords, they're looking for your skills, and what industries that you've worked in. Typically somebody who is working in the healthcare industry, they're looking for candidates who have healthcare experience. Likewise, in other industries, they're very specific to that kind of situation. Somebody who's had telecommunications experience, or who's worked for a defense contractor. Those are viable things that people are looking for. I've already mentioned locations. And then they tend to look at your prior companies and link the service. Again, yes, recruiters do look and see how long you've stayed with a company. Then they tend to look at your employment history and go further. Let's take a look at an actual list when a recruiter does a search. In this particular one, the search was for a product manager in the Seattle area. They'd also consider candidates from the San Francisco Bay Area, and they would also consider a senior product manager. If you notice, there were about 6,900 candidates identified on this search, and they also had some things that this is a candidate from that part of the area. So this is just what one recruiter search looks like. And there is a software package that LinkedIn sells to recruiters called Recruiter or Recruiter Lite. One is $100 a month. The other one is $500 a month. So it can be kind of expensive, but it is, if I were a recruiter today at an active status, it's a tool that I would want to have my company pay for. Here's another search. This one was for a project manager in Chicago area. This one drew a lot more candidates. If you were to run this same search in Dallas, it'd get a like number of candidates, like 43,000 candidates. Of those, there are only 83 of them are open to new connections. So that's the low-hanging fruit that recruiters are looking for. Those are the first candidates I would take a look at their profile for. That's basically 9 screens on LinkedIn, just like the one that you see there. There are 10 of those per screen, those thumbnail sketches that people have. The keywords that some of the people have used there are business strategy and analytics for some of the skills and keywords that appear. And some of the companies that they've looked at are Google, Facebook, and LinkedIn. And they actually searched on graduates from Northwestern University on this particular one as well. Okay, so how do you go about using LinkedIn to search for jobs, which is another criteria. Once you've got your profile and let recruiters find you, how do you use it to find jobs? Well, obviously you're going to fill in, when you click on the jobs tab up here, it opens up the search box and you've got a what and a where. Searching for jobs, if you enter something there and just click it from a drop-down box, in LinkedIn, as you start to type in a job title there, it will give you a drop-down box with some artificial intelligence. If you just click on one of those from the drop-down list, it defaults for the location to the United States. So you also want to enter a location, such as the Dallas-Fort Worth area, unless you're open to nationwide. And you click on search. So that's basically what the search looks like to start with. Once you've done your initial search, you have the option to look at filters. Okay, filters on this particular screen is there. I recommend that everybody, when you're doing a search for a job, you switch to the past week because it defaults to any time. By going to the past week, what you're doing is looking for fresher jobs. And the reason is the first response to a job posting is usually about within the first 3 minutes. And during the first hour, there can be as many as 300 or 400 that have responded. So you want to get into that first group so that you have a greater chance. You can also look at most of the jobs that are posted of these 17,000 for this search for a recruiter in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. You notice that 15,600 were for full-time positions, but there are other kinds of positions that you may be looking for, such as contract or temporary or even volunteer position. You can refine the Dallas-Fort Worth area to just looking for positions in Dallas, eliminating those over in Fort Worth or Darlington. It's too far to drive. Dropping down a little bit further, you can search by company. You can search by industry, by job function, and experience level. The experience level is one way to kind of gauge what the salary is on it. An internship is just what it sounds like. Somebody who's still in school. possibly for a master's degree at SMU, or somebody who's on an H-1B visa that's looking for practical experience. And you can, if you have an H-1B visa, you can get up to 3 internships of 6 months each. Entry level is just what it sounds like. It's just right out of school usually, or entering into a profession if you're changing career fields. An associate is usually about 2 to 5 years of experience. Mid-senior run from 4 to 15 years of experience, and then you get up into the management ranks. But you can choose those filters once you've selected those. You can apply them. This button that doesn't appear on my screen, but might on yours, shows that, and you can click on that. There's also a clear button. So once you've established your search, you can clear all the filters and start over again. So you don't have to recreate the search. It's helpful in that, right? Again, searching filters. I mentioned the experience level is a way to gauge the salary levels on that one. Again, once you've searched for a job, like here, this project manager, the description of that job is right there, as you see. It will appear on your screen. Creating job alerts is right there at the top. The radio button just clicks on for that particular position for a talent acquisition specialist. And you created that, and you'll start to receive any new postings that match that qualification that are there that you've selected. Easy way to do that in terms of the filtering. Again, you can optimize your profile. Why would I want to look at people at other companies? Well, you can find out a little bit about them. If you don't show up when you do a search for a recruiter like this, and again, when you're searching for people, okay, over here, this drop-down menu on the prior screen said jobs. When you click on that, it will list other things that you can look like groups or people or companies that you can do a company search. In this search for a recruiter in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, there were about 26,000. If I run it today, that number is actually up to about 35,000 people that have recruiter in their profile. Okay, and this particular one, you notice these are second-degree connections for me. Okay, that's what this second is. But if you don't show up in that first group of first 10 screens, you probably are not going to show up in a recruiter's actual search itself, because most recruiters don't go much beyond that because they're looking for the keywords that I mentioned and the other factors that they've identified. You can use that to find people. You can look at their profiles and incorporate some of the verbiage that they have in their profile. Put it in yours, try it out, see if it'll work, see if it doesn't improve your ranking. You can do a people search at a company. Again, in this particular one, on the search, you can see the different options there. This was for company search, okay? And this search was for people at Thomson Reuters. And again, in this search, we came up, I can't remember, 227,000 people had Thomson Reuters in their profile. We have to understand that there are over 550 million people on LinkedIn. So that number, even though it's a large number, is not astronomical in comparison to the total of 550 million people on LinkedIn. Another way that you can do that is to using a company search to find people. In this one, we were looking for people at Thomson Reuters, okay? A company search, and in this particular case, I can't remember how many people we had, but you could also apply filters to that to find out people that are active in that, in your field. You can also use a company search to find people, switching from people search to company search. And when you've clicked on, say, Thomson Reuters and the 3,700 people that are there, by clicking on that, you can find out where they live and where they study, what school they went to. Further clicking on that, you can add that, you can, what kind of background do they have? What department are they actually working? What are they doing? What kind of skills did they have when they were in school? And lastly, this is a slide that Dirk Spencer gives in a presentation he did on LinkedIn when he was looking for a job last year, and earlier this year. All he did on his profile was to change the headline section by adding job titles, and he changed it from one to the other. And he went to his summary section, and he just changed a couple of things. He was very successful in lining up at least a couple of interviews based on those minor changes that he made on his profile. Jeff, I'm going to turn it back and see if we've got people that would like us to take a look at their let me see if I can go.
We've got a couple questions first. Pros and cons on opening to all LinkedIn members versus only recruiters.
If you are still working, I would limit it to just LinkedIn recruiters. Those people that are in bridge jobs, you might not want to, or fear you may not want to jeopardize your situation in the current job that you have. So you might want to do away with that as well. Okay. If you're looking for a job, I want to let the network know as much as I can about that.
Right. Okay. Susan asked, how much do likes count versus posting articles?
I'm sorry, likes?
Likes.
Obviously, if you posted an article, it's a little bit stronger. People have a little bit more. A like is just a simple check, yes or no. Okay. That's what it basically amounts to. So I would go with the whole situation on that.
Either posting or sharing an article would also be good. And
that would be good as well.
You may want to, add a comment to it why you like the article, because that'll raise up your points a little bit more. All right, Kevin asked, if you're open to relocations, is it better to keep your location blank in the profile or list only the United States?
Well, if you want to move to England, I would say that you want to put that down. But again, if you're open to relocation to the United States, tell people that, even though they may not have a situation. I'm working with someone in one of the networking groups I'm with, and he's looking for positions in Washington, D.C. So he's going to have that in his profile, that he's open to positions in Washington, D.C., the Washington metropolitan area.
Okay. Yeah, so don't leave it open. Put down, make sure you put in your summary statement and your about statement, open to relocation anywhere. You're ready to go. Let's see here. Next question. Patty mentions you can go, for those people who want to see what your social selling index is, there's a link in the chat box. It's www.linkedin.com/sales/SSI. And that will allow you to see your social selling index. Patty says ideally you want to be in the 70s. I just looked mine up a little bit ago and I'm 75. Thank you, Patty. Let's see here. Look and see. The version that you were showing, was that the premium version or the regular version?
No, I have tried the premium version. I have elected not to go with that. The major advantage that it offers some guidance in terms of salary, which is available in a number of other places like Salary Wizard or salary.com, or areas that you can look at for salaries. The other thing it offers you is more opportunities to send emails, which is the version that they have of an email within LinkedIn. Again, if you're not a first degree connection with somebody, you have to have an email to use, or you have to use it through connecting with somebody else.
Right. Also, the other advantage, if you have LinkedIn, the premium version, which is like $30 a month, it takes you to LinkedIn Learning. LinkedIn Learning is lynda.com. For those of you who have a library card, or if you have a check with your public library, I know the city of Dallas offers lynda.com for free with my library card. So besides being able to go to Reference USA to find other companies, I can also go to lynda.com for the same exact training that you would get on LinkedIn. So, save you $30 right now and use it towards something else.
Actually, LinkedIn is now $32, I think, Jeff. But
oh, $32 a month. Okay. I always find it interesting when they offer me to go back to my premium version. They'll give me two months at half price or 1 month at full price, at 1 month off. So they don't really do a lot. Do the likes boost? Susan asked, do the likes boost the status? Does it count towards activity?
Yes, it does count toward activities. But if you take a look at each section of your profile on LinkedIn, each of the sections on the profile has a value attached to it, as well as your activities. So each of those are values that add up to it. Some time ago, somebody did, I think it was a guy named David Lanner, did an evaluation of the different sections and what had the greatest value in terms of updating that section. I don't know whether I've still got that chart that he did or not. So why don't we see if there are other questions, and then we can possibly take a look at some people's profiles.
Okay, well, I've got a couple more questions here. Kip is asking on Facebook, where should non-university education be posted? Continuing education classes, just showing that he's staying current.
Yes, you want to include that. Too many of the profiles that I look at just have where somebody got their degree. A lot of the people on LinkedIn have gotten a college degree of some case. But what have you done to keep your skills current? Have you taken a LinkedIn seminar like this one? Have you taken any of the other courses? that are available through the community colleges, like an Oracle or something else like that, or Facebook.
So the question is, where should that be posted at? Where should you list those classes?
It's under your education section. Again, let's take a look at that and see if I can find that right now. I'm going to view my profile real quick like. Okay, under the education section, skills and endorsements, recommendations, interests. So you can list it under your education section by adding the plus character right there.
Okay. Let's see here. All right, I think that's it. All right, we had somebody who submitted wanted to look at their profile. Let's see here. Let me see where it is. Fernando, Fernando. Last name is Urrutia. There you go.
Okay, that's Fernando, I believe. Okay, he's got a nice screenshot of a castle somewhere, possibly Italy, I'm guessing.
That is the walled city of Carcassonne in the south of France.
South of France, okay. Well, I knew it was somewhere in Europe. Anyway, the contact information, you can see what he has. He has his email address and his phone number there. I can see that, but if somebody's not a first degree connection with Fernando, they cannot see it. He's got business system developer in transition. I would take out the in transition, okay? They're going to kind of, given that you're looking for a job, business systems developer, systems analyst, what are some of the other titles that you might use in terms of that, okay? What it's done is pull some of the title off of his last job, developer in transition, which is the current position. So I would go in and edit that using the blue pencil. You can go in and add to that, add some job titles. He's got open to job opportunities. Notice he's got data analyst in addition to business analyst, SAS developer, Teradata developer, SQL developer, and systems analyst roles. And there's the click on details so they can find out where he's open to, what locations he's open to on that, okay? He's got his contact information at the top of his profile. I mean, in the about section. That makes it easy for the recruiter or the hiring manager to see that. Okay, let me see. Let me look at your contact. Okay. My touch screen is particularly sensitive, so I have to watch that. Okay. His contact information, his URL, notice how he's customized it. He's added DFW. You can either put some other things. You could have business developer, or you could have systems developer, something that you can add out there. You have, I think, about 40 characters to play with on that, so you'll have to play with that a little bit. So it's got a good looking profile. Again, I would, here on this section where you have SAS and Teradata, I would not run those all together because those are not searchable terms. By putting the backslash in there, it makes them not searchable. They won't show up. So what you want to do is a space or use a comma. If you use the backslash like that, do a blank space on either side of it so it makes it searchable. Okay, that's just something that makes it easy. Otherwise, you're not going to show up when somebody types in SAS. Likewise, on your headline up here, you've got SAS, Teradata, Tableau. Okay, again, that makes those unsearchable when somebody's looking for just SAS. It will not show up. Okay, so that may be why you're not getting some activity. Okay, helpful, Fernando?
Yes, very much so. Thank you.
Let's try another one, Jeff.
Okay, Jessica, Tepera.
Spell again.
Tepera.
DEP?
No, TEP. T is in Tom. No, not D, T. T is in Tom.
T.
T, E-P.
That one.
E-R-A. There you
That
go.
one?
Yes.
Okay. She's got executive assistant, passion to help executives. What were some of the other things that she's done, Jessica, if you've done budgeting, or you've done event planning, or you've done expenses? Again, those are the kind of things, support multiple executives. You know, those are the kind of things that are going to, if you've used help executives, and entrepreneurs achieve their goals. Okay, that's good. She's in McKinney, Texas. She has not gone to her settings area to put what her career interests, her profile there, and she knows that. So when you go up here to click on me to your settings area, and you can go to the settings area and click on that to find that, to add that. Contact information, because we're second degree connections, I have no way to get in touch with Jessica. She's got her profile, she's customized a little bit. I would put a dash between Jessica and her last name, possibly taking that, making it about, you could put exec assistant, and do that on that, okay? In terms of looking at her, okay. She's got her email address so people can get in touch with her right there, so that's good. You don't have to have your phone number as well. Some people say they don't want to be contacted, or people don't want to be stalked. Again, that's the thing. She's got a good office description of what she has. So people, recruiters might want to ask, well, what have you been doing since you were laid off? You know, in today's economy, a lot of people know that the COVID-19 has let a lot of people loose on the marketplace. So you might want to put current position, as she said, executive assistant, currently seeking a position in the North Dallas, Plano, McKinney area, and what kind of company that you might want to work with. Take that example off the slides that I mentioned. Okay. Otherwise, it's good looking. She's used asterisks, because when you use the word processor within LinkedIn, it does not allow you to use bullets, or didn't the last time I worked with it. So she's used an asterisk with a space in lieu of a bullet. It looks good as well. Here's some college, as she has some other things. We mentioned, somebody asked the question about how do you list where you've taken additional coursework, okay? So she's done that. She's got some certification. She's taken one of the classes on LinkedIn. When you go to the skills area on LinkedIn, there is a test that you can take for certification. I think you have to get 70% right or better to qualify that, and you can do it twice. If you don't do it the third time, I think you have to wait 3 months to take it again. Okay. Questions that Jessica has, if she's on Facebook, Jeff?
No, she was on Zoom. Any questions, Jessica?
I'm going to go ahead and do one other thing. When you do this, if somebody has this connect button on there, it's usually good, like I do right now. I'm not going to add her note. I'm just going to invite Jessica. But it's usually good, where did you meet with somebody, and add that, your name, to the invitation. So I'm just going to send her an invitation now. Okay. Next person.
Anybody who wants to send me a LinkedIn invitation, please send me a note.
Yeah, send a note. Okay. Next person.
Let's see here. We've got another person who'd like to look. Well, they only gave me the LinkedIn. Oh, Karen, K-A-R-E-N. Last name Nicholson. N-I-C-H. There you go. Second one right there.
That one?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to do the same thing with Karen. I'm just going to send her an invite. Okay. She has, well, let's see, her contact information. Again, I couldn't get in touch with Karen through her contact information. The next thing I'm going to look at is in her about section. If it's in, some people put their contact information at the bottom. I would take it and move it to the top. Okay, you can just put your email address and your phone number at the top. Okay. She's used a number of different things: a visual strategist, proven graphic designer, helping companies translate their business goals to reality. If she has experience with motion graphics, that's a new current field that you want to put on there as well. You know, that's my son's field down in Austin. She's open to job opportunities, and like that, we can look at some of the details. Again, the location, she's saying, for the most part, the north side of the Dallas-Fort Worth area is where she's looking, okay? And she's open to full-time contract, remote, and volunteer. Again, those are the options that you have in the job preferences and the settings over there, once you've set that up. Come on. Okay. She has posted one of the things, I guess this is a sample from her portfolio, which is good. She's done some short-term assignments for ad agencies. And she was with a company up in Houghton Mifflin Harcourt is a book publisher, and they're up in Keller. They used to have a warehouse up along 35E in Louisville, but she's done some other things as samples of her work. So it was enclosed as well. Okay, here's the Louisville that I was mentioning. Okay, looks good, Karen. Okay, Jeff, we're looking for somebody else's profile
Okay.
to look for a job.
How about David? Last name Sidway, S-I-D-W-A-Y. There you go.
Well, David and I are already connected, but let's go ahead and look at David's. Okay, you can add a background. If you don't, there is a default setting for your background shot that's there. Again, he's used the backslash as opposed to a pipe character. If you decide to use comma, you only have to put a space after the comma, so that it will be searchable. Okay. He's got a good job opportunities and the details that's there. Now his profile, for some reason, his about section's all showing up. I would take his email address and his phone number and put it at the top of the about section. Again, you might want to break up your about section. You've used sentences and paragraphs. Use some asterisks to break things up, because what are you looking for people to read? You've got a lot of information there, so highlight it like you've done in this section right here in terms of your certifications. Okay. Come on. He's got some of the words that I would use in terms of his headline. He's got business continuity, which is a good one, and rescue operations, some other things like that. He's open to full-time and contract opportunities, available full-time. I might want to take out the available for full-time and just put contract, full-time, comma, contract opportunities, and use some of the space for other things. Good looking profile. His experience. Education is there. Licenses and certifications he's got is good. This is another area, the license and certifications is where you can, if you've taken a class and it has a certification attached to it, this is where you can attach that. And his volunteer experience, that's a section that we didn't mention, but he's done, he's volunteered with Habitat for Humanity, and he's worked on the Byron Nelson Golf Championship as well. He's got skills and endorsements. He has 3 that are selected. He could show more, but again, those are the 3 that are there. You remember, you can use that push pin to delete one and go below and add one of the others. So if there's something else that he might want to select. A good looking profile, David.
All right, we have a couple more questions here. Number one, someone connected with me, then after I realized they were selling, they removed the connection. What's the implication of this?
They removed it or you removed it?
Well, it says here they removed the connection. Personally, if they were trying to sell, I would remove them myself. But
I do that on occasion. I remove them myself. So I don't think there's any particular significance unless it's a contact that you wanted to keep.
okay, let's see here. Back up here, it says let's see here. I've heard that the profile should not read like a resume. Can you please show an example of profiles without the resume format? Is it just the keywords, etc.?
Well, let's take a look at my profile for the minute. For some reason, it didn't let me look at my profile. Okay. My profile is a little bit different, but again, your profile and your LinkedIn, your resume need to be in sync with one another. Okay, they don't have to agree 100%, but again, they need to do that. Those are some of the publications that I had that I just added yesterday. This presentation is there as well, although I've updated it since then. That's some of my activity. Okay, I'll go back. But in terms of your profile, it doesn't have to have a lot of information about it. In terms of that, there's...
You keep bouncing out.
Now, well, my touch screen is very sensitive. I have a touch screen, and if I touch it to scroll, okay. There's my activity level if you want, the speaking engagements, etc. Notice the professional, my experience with Alderson Associates, my firm, the Frisco Connect. There's only 3 lines. And that's on this afternoon, and I think they're going to talk about resumes on Frisco Career Transition Workshop this afternoon at 3 o'clock. Okay, notice some of the descriptions are very short. Okay, Lee Heck Harrison is more detailed because that's actual job experience. Mullen experience is a lot more detailed as well as you look. Notice how you can break some of that up with asterisks like that or bullets. You use bullets, do it in Word and then cut and paste it in there like that. But how your profile actually looks like. Okay, this is one very, in terms of the practice interview team, I was on that for a couple of years, like Jeff is still involved in. I was at eVerge as a contract recruiter for 4 months. Okay, so again, the details don't have to be extensive. My experience at Oracle was this experience was for 4 years and 4 months and 8 years when I was with Siebel. Again, notice how, again, LinkedIn will link those two together because Oracle purchased Siebel. Well, all of the descriptions don't have to be at all lengthy in description like that. Okay, and answer that question?
Yes. We're going to wrap up here in just a second. Somebody put in the comment box, please note you can enter a bullet point in any text box using the Alt 249. You hit Alt while you're holding down the Alt key, then touch 249, and that will allow you to add a bullet if you want to put a bullet in there. Val asked, did you talk about bridge jobs? Should they stay in there? Should they be removed? What are your thoughts?
Well, what you want to do, let's take a look at something in terms of a bridge job. Okay, you notice here at Oracle and Siebel, this period at Siebel, I was at Siebel from 98 until 2002, was laid off. I came back on contract in 2003. I was hired back again in 2004. So I just linked the whole period together from one date to another. Okay, bridge jobs, I would list it how you may have done that if they were doing it through a contracting firm like Kelly Services, or they were independent. You notice up here for Alderson and Associates, here, you notice that's 43 years. Well, I wasn't doing that all full time while I was working at some of those other companies. So a lot of the bridge type jobs that you mentioned like that, I had recruiter assignments with eVerge, Siebel, 9 contracts, Vivari, Hitachi Semiconductor, E-System. In a couple of cases, one of those, I don't even list a bridge job, which lasted for 4 weeks. I had one contract that lasted for a week. So again, you can list it like that. But again, notice how I've done that. That's over a span of that time that you've done that if you've had your own professional name like Alderson and Associates. At one point I was incorporated, another time that I was not incorporated, just doing business as. That's a way that you can cover that. Or if you were working for somebody else on contract when I was.
Will you open up your contact information again?
I'm sorry?
You click on your contact information. I just want to put on there, somebody on Facebook asked, can I get a copy of this presentation? There's
Yes.
Locke's email address. You can email him at lockealderson@gmail.com and let him know that you'd like to get a copy of this presentation, or you can reach out to him on LinkedIn and let him know, and you can do that. So I just wanted to be able to share that because that was a question a couple people have had here. All right. Well, Locke, thank you very much. Let's see here. Locke, thank you very much. Great information. I think everybody learned a lot of great comments in the comment box about what we were talking about today. Please join us today at 3 o'clock. The Frisco Career Transition Workshop will be having its last seminar. It's going to be talking about resume optimization, how COVID-19 is changing the way recruiters look at resumes. That will be live on Facebook, and you will also be able to, if you register, you'll have to go to the Career DFW calendar, and you'll be able to find the log information there to be able to get to that. Tomorrow, Interviewing Wednesday at 1 o'clock will be session number 11. We're going to talk about information or interviews, networking, and target companies. So we have 3 different topics we're going to talk about tomorrow. On Thursday, we'll be doing effective resumes again. So if you'd like to be able to submit, you're welcome to submit your resume. And if you'd like to change the header information, you're welcome to do that because we will be live on Facebook and YouTube. And you can join us on the Facebook page or the Career DFW calendar to get more information for any of those events. Just as a reminder, all these sessions are being recorded and will be on the Career DFW Facebook page. I'll be uploading this presentation to the Career USA YouTube channel later this afternoon. Please check each page, please follow, please subscribe to both of them. Here's a quickie look of what the Facebook page looks like. Where you see the red arrow, we ask if you would please follow us. That way, every time we go live, you'll get an alert on your phone saying that we're currently live on Facebook. Where the blue arrow is, that will say where we're doing videos, and you'll be able to find all the videos, and they're all grouped together. All the LinkedIn videos are together, all the interviewing ones are together, all the resume ones are together. You'll be able to find that information there. On Facebook, on YouTube, it's the Career USA YouTube channel. If you click on the blue arrow, it'll go to playlist, and it'll show you what it looks like at the bottom half of that screen there. If you click on where the red arrow is, you'll see the full playlist of all the LinkedIn presentations that we currently have. So please remember, Career DFW is a 501c3. We're a nonprofit organization. We have no full or part-time employees. All of the speakers, Locke, everybody else who helps us out, including myself, we're all volunteers. We don't get paid to do what we're doing. We're just here to help you with your job search. Hopefully when you do land your next opportunity, you'll remember us and you'll think about us. And please, if you would, please make a donation. Help us to continue on to do what we're doing. And if your company offers matching funds, please allow your donation to be doubled. Look us up. If you don't see us on that list, please contact me and I'll get our name on that list for you. So thank you very much for joining us today. Locke, thank you very much for great information.
Thank you, Jeff.
Hopefully we'll see some of you today at 3 o'clock. Otherwise, we'll see you maybe tomorrow at 1 or Thursday at 1. So have a great week, everybody.